Hey, everybody, welcome to today's webinar focused on eco-labels and finding the best one for your brand or business. I'm Molly Hughes. Today, we are featuring the Ocean Positive Verified Climate Neutral certification. This is a really fun certification, so I am so glad you're with us today. We know that businesses are trying to strengthen their connection to their customers, and this certification certainly resonates with those who love the coast, the beach, the ocean. They're really attracting a Gen Z and millennial crowd. We hear it over and over again that shoppers are skeptical of non-verified sustainability claims, which is one of the many reasons why an eco label such as this one is so very, very important. These certifications build trust. Furthermore, there are certain eco labels that qualify you for programs such as government grants, as well as for retail sustainability programs like Amazon's Climate Pledge Friendly, Wayfair Shop Sustainably, and more. We stay on top of all of this, so keep following Softly to stay up to date on these opportunities. Okay, so for this webinar series, we have a great list of certifying organizations that we're going to be speaking to over the coming weeks, including next Thursday, May 18th, we'll have the Chief of the United States EPA Safer Choice label. This is a super critical eco label for federal procurement. And then on May 25th, we'll have Fair for Life, and then we're going to have Certified Compostable on June 16th. We also have an entire library of webinars, eco-label organizations on our website for reference in the future. So you are in the right place if you're a business considering certification or you just want to learn a little bit more about the process. All right, so at this time, I'd like to bring on today's guest. We are thrilled to learn about Ocean Positive, Climate Neutral, and all of the great programs that go along with the certification. With us today is Haley Jain Haggerstone, Partnerships Director with Sustainable Surf and SeaTrees, the umbrella organization for Ocean Positive. Welcome to our webinar today, Haley.
Hi, Molly. Thanks for having me. And hi, everyone.
So let's start by first learning a little bit about you, Haley. How did you get involved with this nonprofit?
So I've actually known our founders, Kevin and Michael, for just over 10 years. So around when the organization launched. And I was working with another environmental nonprofit focused on ocean conservation. And they actually borrowed some beach cleanup supplies from me when I was down in San Diego. And we just, stayed connected over the years. And when their former partnerships manager had left, they reached out and I was doing some consulting work and brought me in. And I just love the program SeaTrees and all the brand partners that I get to work with and, drive solutions to climate change.
Excellent. Yeah. It's a great, a great mission to work on. So let's talk before we get into the organization itself. What are the threats that are facing our ocean today?
Whew, I mean, there's quite a few, and I don't want to take too long talking about it, but from a very high level, climate change and, human impacts as well as plastic pollution are some of the big ones. Those also happen to be, some of the issues that I've focused on throughout my career is tackling those big issues.
Yeah. So, what about the organization you work for? Like I mentioned, there's an umbrella organization. Why don't we kind of walk through the history of it and how it all got started?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, sustainable surf was started just over 10 years ago. And the idea was, how do we tap into surf culture and sort of the cool factor of surfing and surfers to make sustainability and climate change solutions sexy and cool and approachable? So, as surfers, I've, heard the phrase canaries in the coal mine. We are those canaries. We're the first ones in the water in the morning and the last ones out at night. So if there's something happening in our oceans, we're going to know about it. And because it's our playground, you protect what you love. And so we should be leaders in this movement and inspire other people to get involved.
Yeah. Are you a surfer?
I am a surfer. Yeah, a snowboarder first because I'm Canadian. It's a little hard up there, but I do surf as well.
Very good. Okay. So, let's talk about sustainable surf. What's the mission?
So our mission is pretty simple. It's to regenerate the health of our ocean planet. And we're doing that in order to reverse climate change. And as I said before, really tapping into surfing and surf culture to make those solutions more approachable and attractive.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your program. Or I should say, really, the different programs you have, because it's certainly not just one program.
Yeah, we have a couple core programs. So we have the EcoBoard Project, which is a sustainability certification program for surfboards. So with this program, we're looking at the materials and the waste that are involved with making surfboards and really encouraging surfboard shapers and manufacturers to look at better materials in order to have less of a footprint and environmental impact. And then SeaTrees, which is sort of our flagship program, and a lot of people know us as SeaTrees. This program is about regenerating blue carbon coastal ecosystems in order to sequester carbon and reverse climate change.
Okay. So, in a minute, we're going to talk through the actual certification process. But I just want to remind if anybody has a question, please put it in the chat because we will certainly end it. Before we end, we will make sure that we get all the questions. Okay. But before that, what are blue carbon coastal ecosystems? That's a mouthful right there.
It is. So these are the five ecosystems that we focus on. So mangrove forests, kelp forests, coral reefs, seagrass meadows, and coastal watersheds.
Okay, let's talk through each one and why they're being threatened right now. Just very briefly, mangroves.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll say it across the board. The impacts of climate change and human development are affecting all of these ecosystems. And the reason why these ecosystems are incredibly important, is that they are sequestering a ton of carbon. It's about 5 to 10 times more effective, these ecosystems, than like terrestrial trees. They have unfortunately been left out of the equation as far as climate change solutions up until recently because we're terrestrial beings. It's a heck of a lot easier to plant a tree, on land than it is in the ocean, which is, out of sight, out of mind for many people, especially if you live inland.
Yeah, and in the oceans, they affect so much of really everything that we have. From oxygen to making sure that our weather. Just so much has to do with the ocean. So there is a big reason why we need to keep it really healthy. So I am going to kind of walk through each of these. Kelp. Some people, if you're like, I'm from Illinois, so tell us the importance of kelp.
Yeah. So, as I said before, kelp is sequestering carbon. It is also provides habitat for marine life,
Hmm.
cultural and recreational value. So, if you're a swimmer or a scuba diver, kelp forests are where you want to be. That's where you're going to see a lot of beautiful life. And I mean, if you've ever swam through a kelp forest, it's pretty incredible. It also protects shorelines. Same with the mangroves. So, from storm surges and sea level rise, it's going to protect coastal communities by kind of tampering some of the wave energy that's coming along.
Hmm. And they're being threatened, I'm assuming, at a pretty high rate also.
Yes, absolutely. So here in California, which is where I am based, the issue is that we've lost a lot of our predators that eat the purple urchins, which are what are very ravenous and eat our kelp. So we've lost our sea stars and sea otters in a lot of areas, and
Mm.
up to 90% of our kelp has been lost throughout California.
Oh my goodness. So I read somewhere that kelp is considered the sequoias of the sea. So
Yes.
certainly a big mainstay in the oceans.
Yes.
Let's move over. Coral. Everybody knows beautiful coral. What kind of threat are we seeing to the coral?
Again, climate change, warming temperatures, pollution, a lot of impacts. Even the anchors from boats can impact coral, and tourists just not knowing any better and breaking off pieces and things like that.
Mhm. And coral is really important to our economy as well. I know coral's used in medicines and other things like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and actually same with kelp as well.
Oh, wow. And then next one, seagrass. What is seagrass compared to kelp? I guess for people who aren't necessarily divers or surfers, they may not know the difference.
Yeah, so seagrass is going to be the kelp that you see there is actually giant kelp. So that's why we call it the sequoias of the sea. They grow;
Mhm.
it grows incredibly fast and long. Seagrass is going to be, much lower to the surface level. I am not a marine biologist, so I'm not going to get into like the taxonomy here. But similar threats, the climate change issue, water pollution is definitely affecting it. Boat anchors, all of the above.
Okay. And then watershed.
Yeah. So
Watershed's
we
a problem, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So if you think about, the hydrologic cycle, everything that happens upstream affects what's happening downstream. So we want to protect our watersheds up above these other beautiful ecosystems. So if you have a healthy watershed, you're more than likely going to have a healthier base. So whether that's seagrass, coral, kelp, or mangroves down along the coastline, we want to protect what's up above those
Mhm.
ecosystems.
Yeah, so it's basically all waterways that feed into the ocean. Is there, with that, is there redirecting of those waterways too, or is it keeping them, I guess, healthy and that would maybe be redirecting them if need be,
Yeah,
correct?
we don't work on that side of things.
Mhm.
Work on we have one watershed project currently that's looking at regenerative agriculture. So
Okay.
planting native plants, not using pesticides and things like that in order to protect the stream that's ultimately flowing down out into the ocean.
Okay. So let's now talk a little bit about Ocean Positive and the actual certification that brands can get. What's it mean to be Ocean Positive?
Yeah, so to be ocean positive means that you are going above and beyond and sequestering more carbon than you emit. So that's the positive side of it. So, in order to do this, a brand would calculate their carbon footprint either with our support or on their own, and we would verify the calculation to ensure everything that should be included is included. And then they would offset it, or as we like to say, wipe it out, which is a little
Hmm.
more on brand for
Yep.
sustainable surf. So
Love it.
wipe out that footprint with what we call our SeaTrees tokens. And so our SeaTrees tokens are a blended carbon offset. So what's included in a token is one carbon credit from a coastal watershed project that has mangroves in the base, which is why we
Mhm.
consider it blue carbon. And you get one credit from one of those projects. In addition to that, we're planting 3 mangrove trees in our Mita Creek, Kenya project. And those 3 trees, over the course of their lifetime, have the potential to sequester an additional ton of carbon. So now you're not only getting, going neutral, you're going above and beyond to be what we call ocean positive, and you get the certification, which you can see in the top right there.
Okay. So just to be clear, I am let's say I'm a business, and I'm like, gosh, I don't have anything to do with oceans necessarily, though. That doesn't matter, right? What you're doing is you're offsetting your carbon footprint,
You're wiping it out.
wiping
But
it out,
yeah,
wiping it out
you
by
know,
doing good things.
yes. And like I said with the example of the watershed, everything's connected. And you might not live near the ocean, but you're definitely dependent on the ocean for the carbon that it's sequestering from our atmosphere. Maybe you eat seafood. There's all these different benefits to the ocean, and we need them. We absolutely need the ocean. So we want to protect it, and it's definitely, you know, we've heard the doom and gloom statistics about climate change. I'm not going to go into that because I want to keep this upbeat and positive. And but we know that we don't have a lot of time left, and so the idea is we need to go above and beyond, and we need to sequester more than we're emitting at this point.
So, are there any sorts of products or businesses that are best suited for a certification like this?
I mean, I think everybody is, but
Mhm.
we do have a number of brand partners that they have a direct connection to the ocean. So, surfboard manufacturers, of course, their business depends on
Livelihood.
the
Mhm.
ocean. Or we've got a beauty brand that we work with that uses algae in their products. So, of course, there's a connection there, and they want to protect, where they're getting their ingredients from. So, those are two that kind of come to mind. But we work with brands of all shapes and sizes and all industries. This is our ocean positive current ocean positive partners here. You can see,
Mhm.
food and beverage, hospitality, electric bikes, surf parks, like across the spectrum. So I
Mhm.
think that it suits everybody. But of course, if you have a natural connection or a love of the ocean, then you might gravitate towards this one.
So, what's the benefit for a company to do this?
Yeah, so it's going to set you apart because, like I said, you're going above and beyond. You're going to be able to lead by example. You're going to get that awesome logo that you get to put on your
Mhm.
website, on your products. We're also going to give you a brand partner pack, which includes media assets from the projects you're supporting. So you're going to get from the carbon credited project as well as our Meeta Creek Mangrove project incredible content. So photos and videos that's going to help those businesses really bring the projects and the impact to life and engage their stakeholders, both internally with their employees and externally with their customers.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, building customer trust, it's so very important. So, what tell me a little bit about the process for getting certified.
Yeah. So you can either bring us your carbon footprint
Mhm,
calculations if you've done it, and our team will just
mhm,
verify those, or we can do that for certain companies. So we actually have a modeling software that we use. So we'll get corporate data, which includes energy usage, facilities, employee travel, those sorts of things. And then if you have products, we'll do a life cycle assessment to understand the footprint of those products. So we'll look at the
mhm.
materials, we'll look at shipping data, and all that stuff, and actually model it out to showcase that footprint as well.
Yeah, so you can either bring the information to you, which would obviously be a faster process and less costly, or you can do the entire thing and
Yeah.
kind of start from scratch with somebody. Um, okay, say we're starting from scratch. Is
Mhm.
there a basic timeline that you can give people, and even a basic cost, or does it just really vary depending
It
on what?
it varies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it varies a lot just because if you're a a consultancy, for example, and you're just a one-person show, that's going to be a lot easier than a brand. Say it's an apparel brand that has a whole suite of products and different collections and whatnot. So definitely, if there's products, it's going to take us a little bit longer, and the complexity depends on what industry. So, are we talking an electric bike, or are we talking apparel, or
Yeah.
beauty?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on the number of yeah, products, the product side of things.
Mhm. Good point. So you kind of mentioned a little bit earlier the Eco Board certification, and I do want to touch on that a little bit because I just think it's really unique for one thing. Everybody will see in the chat right now that there is a survey, and so go ahead and take that survey. Tell us a little bit about that, though, Haley. What would they be taking if they took the survey?
Yeah, so with this survey, we're calling it the Wave to Grave survey. So, what it's allowing us to do is extend our life cycle analysis to understand the end of life of surfboards. So, if you're a surfer, I encourage you to take the survey. It only takes 3 minutes and you're entered to win an eco board. So, there's that. And like I said, it's helping us understand what do surfers do when they're done with their surfboard. So, whether it's damaged or you decide that you no longer want to surf that particular board for whatever reason. Do you repair it? Do you donate it? Do you throw it away? Do you recycle it? And this is going to help us get a better understanding of the true footprint of a surfboard.
Awesome. So where exactly you live in California,
I
Haley?
do. Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
Long Beach.
in Long Beach. How's the surfing there right now?
Well, Long Beach, there's
Right?
not much surf because we have a
Yeah.
breakwater that actually takes away our waves. But I'm close enough to Los Angeles and San Diego, so I can bounce around and get my pick of waves. And I heard it's picking up this weekend, so
Yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
is
be out
about the
there.
time of year, right?
Actually, the winter's when we get bigger waves, but
Okay,
it's like colder. Mind you, I grew up in
right.
Canada, so surfing up there, down here, everything's warm to me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's different when you're in the snow and you're all bundled up compared to when you're wet. So,
True,
all
but I
right,
surfed
it
up
might
in
be, but
Canada.
oh, I don't know about that. Okay, let's talk about some ocean positive things. Just everybody can do on an everyday basis that would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, where do we start? I'm thinking about your carbon footprint. So you can do your own calculation and you can actually, as an individual, wipe out your footprint with SeaTrees. Being conscious of when we're going to the store that's just around the corner, do you really need to drive or could you walk or
Mhm.
skateboard or ride your bike? Thinking about single use plastic. gosh, there's so many different things. Being conscious about what we eat, and when you are eating, animal products in moderation. There's lots of different ways that we can
Food
be more
waste, yeah, watching
independent.
with food waste.
Yeah,
What about you have some programs where people can actually wipe out their carbon footprint,
yeah.
whether it be like maybe taking an airline flight or their carbon footprint for the year. Tell me how those programs work.
Yeah, so we've already done the calculations for you. So you can literally just go on our website and wipe out the footprint of you as an individual, of your household for the year, and then flights as well, as you mentioned, as well as driving. And so we have it for the flights in particular. It's like short, medium, and long haul, and we'll explain what that is. So how many hours is the flight, and then you can just go on and purchase the SeaTrees tokens in order to wipe out that footprint.
I think that's a really good gift idea too. Like maybe a wedding present or, birthday, Christmas gifts. What a neat gift is that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
So let's go back to getting certified. I'm a business. I got certified. How do you engage me afterwards so I can engage, my stakeholders? Do you give like updates on the impact that's being made, things like that can be shared?
Yeah. So, like I said, right out the gate, you're going to get that brand partner pack that comes with the
Mhm,
logo as well as the photos and videos from the projects that you're supporting by way of the
mhm,
Seatress tokens. We also do annual updates regarding the overarching impact of those projects. So, we measure our impact in a number of ways, but we actually look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that
sure.
intersect with each project. So, we're thinking about it holistically. It's not just about the ecological benefits, but how are we supporting sustainable development? How are we supporting the local communities? Are we employing individuals? Are we employing women? Are we helping with job training, hunger, all those good things? So we're evaluating that, and each project has its own impact page that we update on an annual basis. In between, you're going to be part of that, that group, that cohort of ocean positive brands. You're going to get regular updates from me as the partnerships manager. So we're getting a quarterly newsletter that's going out. So they're going to be the first ones to hear about new projects
Mhm.
coming online, new assets that are available, all that good stuff.
Okay. We do have a question from the audience. You talked about projects quite a bit. They want to know, what do you mean by different projects?
Are projects or products?
Projects.
Projects.
Like I think they're projects probably throughout the different countries that you're serving.
Exactly. Yeah. So we support 18 sea trees projects currently. So these are blue carbon coastal restoration projects. So either planting mangroves or
Mhm.
restoring kelp or watershed, and those other ecosystems that we touched on. And these projects are all around the world. And our goal is to have 100 projects by 2030. So we've got a ways to go, but as I said earlier, we know that these blue carbon ecosystems are incredibly effective at sequestering carbon. So we want to bring back what we've lost and protect what we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. So many good things that are going on. And I really encourage everybody to go to the website, and we'll show what that is in just a little bit, because there is just a wealth of knowledge. You'll learn so much about marine life and oceans and really what's being threatened. And I think then it kind of brings it all home for you. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap this up?
Well, you stole my line about going to the website, but I would also encourage everyone to find us on social media and check out some of that content, and really dive into the different projects, whether it's something in your backyard or an ecosystem that really resonates with you. I'm a big kelp fan myself, in case you hadn't noticed my background. So those projects are definitely near and dear to my heart.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And like I said, go into that website. It's really fun, and you'll see a lot of really really beautiful pictures too. So make sure you do that. You shared so much great information. Thank you.
Thanks,
So,
Molly.
research shows that just as convenience has become a basic consumer expectation, the demand for transparency is quickly becoming really the baseline for consumers. So, today we learned how a certification increases transparency and is also going to earn customer trust. And our goal at Softly is to help you with this process. We have a platform that's going to take your message to the consumers. You can see it on the right hand side of your screen. It's our personal sustainable shopping assistant. This is a free download. You can get it on the Chrome Web Store or at getsoftly.com. We elevate and suggest sustainable products that are certified to be what they say they are to shoppers. We also can help you find the best certification for your business. There is a lot to consider when it comes to certification. There's about 500 eco labels out there, so we know it can be really overwhelming. But we'll look at your sustainable initiatives and we're going to help you find the one that's best for you and it's going to give the best return on your investment. So this is really important to us. So we're going to offer free consultation. So please reach out to us if you're a business interested. Okay, so here's some information on the label we feature today, Ocean Positive. Like I said, check out their website. You're going to love it. I can guarantee you're going to learn a lot. You can also see Haley's email here. This is a live webinar, but it's also being recorded. So this recording will be available later on the website as well. And here's some information on how to get a hold of us as Softly. As I mentioned, we provide free consultations because we know just how confusing the eco-labeling process can be. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us today. Please join us again. Here is our upcoming schedule. You'll see it in just a second. Have a great day, everybody, and tread softly on the world.